Hey everyone, do we have a banger for you today? This is the Bruvac the Grandiloquent mill deck. We're gonna go through to a deck tech, talk about the strategies here, recommend some upgrades to this already pretty good mill deck. We are looking to mill our opponents and kill them with their card draw. So let's see how this viewer submitted deck starts out and what we can turn it into by the end. Hey everyone, I'm the Nerdy Attorney, thanks for stopping by. If you like content like this, that's analytical about Magic, yet not relentlessly negative about it, while talking about markets, gameplay, and doing box openings, then hey, maybe subscribe. Also, if you have a lot of cardboard you want to sell, check out Conduit, one of the best ways to sell your cards on the internet. Use promo code NERDY for 10% off your fees at checkout. And then also check out Manapool, which is apparently the largest growing online sales database for Magic the Gathering cards, a sponsor of this channel, who now is also sponsoring Commander at Home, which is amazing. Thanks Manapool, I appreciate it. Affiliate link below. Use that to purchase your cards after you get all that sweet cash from Conduit. I greatly appreciate it. Now let's dive into this deck tech for one of our amazing viewers here, a named partner in the Patreon, Thomas McKinney, an absolute mad lad. We're very excited to do this deck tech for him for Bruvac the Grandiloquent. Now, who better to introduce this deck than the man himself?
Hey everybody. So this was my very first deck that I made after getting back into Commander, and I was kind of pushed to be a little more competitive because of my friend group, and as a result of that, I decided to make a mono blue mill deck, and a little bit over time, it's just been improved and upgraded, and I'm looking to potentially make it better if I can. Thank you all.
Well done, Thomas. That guy has got a voice for radio. It makes me a little bit self-conscious. I gotta speak a little deeper for this one. But either way, as you can tell, this is going to be a fun one. I actually have myself a Bruvac deck. I'm constantly tweaking it, and I think I've showed it before. I have my Bruvac serialized card, which I just can't bring myself to keep in the command zone, but a really cool pickup I got way back when, and now it's time to test my skills and knowledge on mill and see how we do. So I dropped this in the Discord for a little bit of deck tech suggestions from our community, and one of the first things people said was, Thomas, you gotta change the name. There is no such thing as a fun mono blue mill deck, to which he quickly responded, hey, it may not be fun for my opponents, but it's certainly fun for me. So let's dive into this with the idea that we want to build a strong deck. This is not CDH, it's meant to be played in a casual EDH play group. So let's go through, see the pieces of tech that he got here, and work our way through on potential suggestions to maybe hone this a bit, make it a bit stronger. I've already done some review of this deck, and I know I'm going to add in one or two infinite combos, or at the very least one or two instant kills, just because I think you need something like that. Mill is a fragile mechanic. When it works, my god, what a weird way to kill your opponent. It's so fun, and I really do enjoy it. So we want to make it a little bit easier to win, a little bit more resilient perhaps, and maybe aim for that turn 4-5 deadly combination. Might be a little bit ambitious. We will find out in our gold fishing portion if it works, and the conversation doesn't stop there. I like Magic the Gathering, and liking Magic the Gathering is not the exact same thing as being good or great at Magic the Gathering. I will try my best here, but please continue the conversation down below. Offer your suggestions if you see something that I missed. All right, let's start off with the Planeswalkers, who are typically very, very good for mill. First and foremost, we have one of the classic Jace Balerans here, redone in Commander Masters. +2, each player draws a card. -1, target player draws a card. -10, each player mills 20 cards with Bruvac on the battlefield. That is 40. You know what? I just realized, for those who don't know Bruvac, let's just quickly go over what he does. Bruvac the Grandiloquent, 2 and a blue, legendary creature, human advisor. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many cards instead. Ruh-roh. Real dangerous. So, Jace, like we said, you get to that -10 on there, a little steep to do, I understand. But if you get it, each player is milling 40 cards. But you know, he's drawing you cards along the way, so can you pull an answer before Jace destroys you? That's the politicking you gotta do with this one. Jace, Memory Adept, this is another great Jace card from Magic 14. You can draw a card, same thing, but the best thing is for 0, you can leave him on the battlefield until people try to attack him. Target player puts the top 10 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. With Bruvac, that's top 20 for 0. Really good, but more expensive. This is 3 and 2 blue to cast. I did notice that there is Thassa's Oracle in this deck, so we do have self-mill mechanics at play here as well, which is backed up here by Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. -8, draw 7 cards, and if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. So that's pretty cool. And then +1 has a little bit of mill mechanics as well. It will be doubled with Bruvac, but then also you can draw a card instead. And then the top text also gives you that Thassa's Oracle style win to Fairy Master in time. Another really great Planeswalker here, but not necessarily ideal for mill, but it does give you 2 extra turns if you can get there. So pretty interesting. And we might cut that. We'll have to see. There's a few of these right off the back that I would say are probably kind of mid-rangey. First and foremost being Deep Channel Mentor. It doesn't really work. It doesn't really help you in this. So I would say we're going to cut this one. Deep Muck Desperado's a maybe here. This does have the crime synergy, but at only 3 cards per player and 6 cards per player, it's a little bit slow. I'm not sure if it's great, but at least it does go in that mill mechanics. Diviner of Mist, great. Fairy Swarm's a good card, but I'm not really sure that it serves you too much when it comes to the mill mechanics. We're going to keep going through and see what other creatures you have, but not great, I would say. Fear of Imposters is fine, is a strong card, but again, lacking that synergy, so that one might be on the chopping block. We will see. Fleet Swallower is just insanely good, and I love this treatment. This was a really good Secret Lair. This is from 2021. It's older, and every card looks great in it. But yeah, absolutely a keep. It's a bit expensive, but if you get this to work, wow, it's going to be awesome. I understand why you would put the Fog Bank in here, which is a defender flying. It can prevent combat damage that would be dealt to and by Fog Bank, so it's a perpetual blocker. That's fine, but I would suggest you might be better served by something like the Meekstone, which stops big creatures from untapping, so people have a hard time swinging out, which does slow things down a little bit. And also Crawl Space would be a really good include here as well. It's another colorless artifact here that prevents how many people can attack you per turn, which is also super helpful. Forces removal of items that might save other key pieces later on that drop, as people have to expend their destroy target permanents, destroy target artifacts against it. So it's a great early way to make sure you get some defense in there and slow down how many people attack you, make you less of an appealing target as you build your combo. So I would say we're going to swap, like, for example, I would get rid of this Deep Channel Mentor, and we're just going to slot in. Typically, I would do kind for kind here, but we would just slot in a Meekstone here. And then the next one will be Crawl Space, for sure. Again, Giggling Skitter Spike is another card kind of lacking synergy. Might be on the chopping block here. Harbinger of the Seas, hilarious. This is a good piece of stack tech that will slow people down. So I could see this being a similar strategy to what I was talking about, where you want to prevent people from attacking you. So if you stop them from casting their spells, that would also work. Hedron Crab, an amazing card. Love this one. Absolutely keep it in. This is good to speed you up a little bit, especially some of your expensive spells. I say this is probably a keep. It's okay. And to speed this up, I've never done this where I'm going through each card. I think it's going to take too long to hand discuss every single card. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and discuss the ones that are absolute bangers, discuss which ones are fine and which ones we're going to take out as quickly as possible, just to make this go a little bit more efficiently, although I am having fun going through piece by piece. So I'll start with the sorceries. One of the most important ways to make your opponent's mill cards, obviously sorceries. Fractured Sanity, banger, absolutely keep this one. Maddening Cacophony, absolute banger, keep this one. Merchant Scroll, absolutely worth it if you want to get out some of your really expensive instants. I think this is a fine one to have. I would say even a Mystical Tutor might be a better swap here, because of the instants you're trying to get here, not that many are going to help you win the game, I think. Yeah, so the instants you'll be looking for, I can see why this is tempting, but we might swap this with the Mystical Tutor instead so you can get a sorcery, which are your more powerful spells for the mill mechanic. Minds Aglow is a really cool card. I don't know if it's exactly what you want, because you might power people into their counters to stop your strategy from moving forward. So I understand the theory here, right? People are going to be greedy, they're going to draw more cards, making your mill a little bit more potent, but I would say it's very key for your pieces to land. And yes, you're in blue, but there's no Force of Will in this deck list. There's Force of Negation, which is good, but you need, I think, more counter spells if you're going to be allowing your opponents to draw this many cards, because you're going to need to protect your win along the way. So I'm going to say Minds Aglow, we'd probably swap with a mill-centered sorcery. May I suggest Traumatize, which would be a great one for here, which is a sorcery. It's 3 and 2 blue. Target player mills half their library rounded down, right? What would you rather do? Maybe draw some cards, or for 5 mana, make somebody mill half their library rounded down with Bruvac out there, right? How insane is that? And spoiler, as a thank you, Thomas, for your constant support and for being a major part of this channel and the community, I am going to be giving you some free cards to help build out your deck with some of the suggestions. The first one will be Traumatize, and it's going to be in that awesome borderless Spider-Man treatment. I hope you don't mind Spider-Man. I think this is one of the best of the Spider-Man borderless cards. Resolution's perfect, color's bright, and Mysterio is the man. So a really good one there. That's going to be the first of the cards I'm giving you. The next one we're going to do is Narset's Reversal. It's an instant and you don't have it in this deck, but I think it's a complete banger. It's 2 blue You can copy target instant or sorcery spell, then return it to owner's hand. You may choose new targets for that copy. So that's going to give you the ability to play some of your incredible sorceries that make your opponent's mill over and over again, twice over minimum. If you can copy that spell in addition to playing Narset's Reversal, you now have yourself some real repetition, real depth in the bench to increase the potency of your mill mechanics. I'm going to be giving you that one from the beautiful Encyclopedia of Magic treatment. And I think those are going to be two great cards to get you started, two nice treatments, and just a little extra thank you for your support of the channel. Let's keep diving into the rest of these sorceries. So we got Serum Visions, draw a card, scry 2. Yeah, why not? This definitely gets you started earlier on. I think it's a great spell and helps you control the top of your deck a little bit. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which is amazing, a really good mill spell, and one that I think doesn't get enough credit from Adventures in Forgotten Realms. So again, really good one. I think we keep that. And then Winter Night Stories, draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards unless you discard the creature card. Harmonize 5. I think this is a fine card. We might take it out. It's not the perfect sorcery. You know, we might just swap that out for another mill spell, but we'll get to that. Instance, Brainstorm, fine. Let you get to your game faster. Counter spell, absolutely. Familiar's Ruse. I can see the benefit of this card being in there, but there are better counter spells for you, and I don't see that many creatures we want to bounce. We'll have to look and see which creatures would be really good bounce targets here, but you don't have that many ETB effects inside the creatures in this deck, so you might not want that card. We can do better than Familiar Ruse. I would say maybe an Offer You Can't Refuse, which rhymes, ironically enough. That would be a nice replacement. And also is another card I would like to give you in this little 3-pack of cards to start replacing and improving your deck. And now when I say improving as well, by the way, I'm not the authority on this. This is just how I would build it. Feel free to take or leave anything I say. Force of Negation, absolutely keep that in there. Get Out. I think this one's fine. I can see what you were doing there. You were trying to get 2 cost counter spells, but this only blocks a creature or an enchantment spell. And you really need to protect your win as opposed to stopping somebody else from winning. I don't think in this kind of deck, you need to be the policeman of the board. I think you're better off being somebody who just does your own thing, makes people mill, and protects your win. So we need a better counterspell for you here as well. Hope's Arrow Magic, which is Cyclonic Rift, absolutely, we keep that in there. And Visions of the Beyond. Draw a card. If your graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, draw 3 cards instead. This is nice. I do like your sub-theme of winning with Thassa's Oracle, but you only have 2 ways where drawing your library is going to cause you to win. And guess what? There are no tutors here that help you tutor out Thassa's Oracle or the Jace Wielder of Mysteries. So if you can't tutor them out, then you're just counting on a 1 in 50 chance you're going to have this in hand in time for you to combine with any of your self-mill mechanics. I would say maybe until we add in more tutors or increase the self-mill victory chain, you don't want to go that way. I think it might be a bit of a red herring. I would suggest for powerful, casual EDH bracket 4, perhaps maybe even high bracket 3, depending on how many game changers we put in here, you're going to want to have a more focused synergy to win. I think the self-mill mechanic is going to distract from your game, and it might even cause you to choose between trying to go through the win by making your players mill themselves out, which is hilarious, or trying to go for the win by milling yourself out, which it might not synergize really well. It might cause a branching pathway in your choices, and there's far more cards in your deck that are geared toward drawing out your opponent's deck, where if you choose the Thassa's route and you don't draw the specific cards you need, it might not be worth it. Let's keep going now. Artifacts, of course, Altar of the Brood is amazing, and from the Encyclopedia of Magic, a really nice include. Folio of Fancies, another really good one, again from that really great Secret Lair. Lightning Greaves, absolutely. Mesmeric Orb, absolutely. Midnight Clock. I can see the temptation for this, but I don't think you need it. This one might be on the chopping block. Mindcrank, absolutely. Riverturn Monument. I like this card. I'm glad to see you have this in here. I put this immediately inside my Captain Ingthrod deck. I think it's the right way to do it. It's a good card, and even though it's Aether Drift, it's a nice include. Always love to see a Sapphire Medallion here. Soul Ring for sure, and the Water Crystal for sure. Moving into the enchantments, Fortune Teller's Tale. This was pretty good, kind of fun, and I like that it's sort of a gamble being able to see the top of your library. Yeah, you're gonna sink a lot of mana into it, but you know what? It's gonna make for more fun games, and if you're a blue player, I love breaking the standard parity of how the game should go. Leave it in, it's fun. Leyline of Anticipation, it's always fun to have in a blue deck. Same thing, it's gonna make your games a little bit more interesting if you could cast it. So yeah, let's go for it. I like things that'll make your games a bit more variable, especially when I'm suggesting that you lean so hard into one mill strategy. Little things like Fortune Teller's Talent, Leyline, these will help the games feel a bit different from game to game if you can get it off. So I'm good for that. Increased replayability. Memory erosion, absolutely. Mystic Remora, absolutely. I love this treatment. It's my favorite. Nightmares and daydreams, absolutely. Psychic corrosion, absolutely. I mean, this is like an ideal enchantments package. I'm loving it all. Sphinx's tutelage. This is an amazing card. I'm glad you have it in here. Great value for a low price. And it's only 2 and a blue. One of my buddies from work told me about this card for Captain Inkthrod. It's insane and it's so fun watching it play out. Again, keeps the games interesting, a bit more random, and definitely fun to watch hit over and over again if it can. Teferi's tutelage. This one's fine. I think it's a good mill mechanic. We're gonna leave it in there. An unstoppable plan. Absolutely. Really, really fun. Love to have this on here. Lands, we got the Agni Kai. That's all good. And then we got J'dor, Aristocrat's Capital, also pretty good here as well, giving that amazing milling half the library rounded down, traumatize effect for just one more colorless to get it off. Hedron Crab actually makes a good argument for you to potentially play more fetch lands. You can play fetch lands in a monocolored deck, so you might want to have that just as a chance to get more out there. Same with like my Fabled Passage, any other fetch land card, just so you could increase the chance of having this work. Hedron Crab would be a great opening hand keep, and especially with more of your fetch lands in there, that might help. I'm going to suggest getting rid of some of those 32 islands and increasing the fetch land count just in case Hedron comes. Because look, the fetch land's not going to slow you down, but if Hedron Crab is on the battlefield early on, it's going to be a blast. Okay, so we're back at the beginning. You only have 2 ETB abilities that matter for your middle strategy, so I'm going to suggest removing the bounce blue spells and not focusing on ETB strategies. So those are the 2 cleaning ups we're doing here. I hope that me talking through my process at this point is helpful for you because, again, I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but this is kind of how I analyze a deck. What's the strategy? And trim the fat. When I started building decks, this was the hardest thing that I had to learn, which was if I like certain cards that are just flavorful and fun, this is before brackets existed, cutting them is painful, but the right thing to do if your deck is trying to do something else. Figure out what your deck does and focus on it. That's what we're doing here to optimize. So now I'm going to copy this deck. I'm going to put it onto my Moxfield page, make the edits, and we're going to play with that deck so I don't screw up your deck list. Before we go there, let's talk about the complexion of the deck just in terms of your mana curve. Right now, your mana curve is perfect. We have a 97% chance on playing on curve. It's a 1.85. It's a monocolor, which really helps for your curve. You're never really going to miss your land drops, which is great. So I think this is really good. When we make the changes, if anything, your mana curve might go up slightly because some of the splasher spells like Traumatize are going to replace some cheaper spells, but I would not worry about that, especially because we're going to be including things like Arcane Signet and then also cards that slow your opponents down like Crawl Space and the Meekstone. All right, I'm going to copy it, make my changes, come on back, we'll discuss it, and then get into the test games. All right, we're back. Now that was fun. I really enjoyed going through and kind of tweaking this to make it fit more what I would like while still trying to keep the spirit of your deck. So 14 in, 14 out. It's a pretty decent change, but not a major change. But we are just leaning heavier in to the mill mechanic, removing the self-mill mechanics. Let's talk about some of the includes. First and foremost, Sakashima the Imposter. It beats the legend rule and it will get you a second copy of Bruvac for just 1 more than his initial casting cost. So you'll get double milling on the board, which is insane, which I guarantee you any of the creatures that I cut, you would rather have 2 Bruvacs as compared to, you know, that 1 flying creature that does more damage, a certain amount of cards in your graveyard. So I figured that was an easy shift. Now moving to artifacts, the most clear changes, Arcane Signet, like I discussed, which auto-populated the turtles, Crawl Space, of course, Meekstone, again, all of these will help you either speed your game up or slow your opponents down. Meekstone, really powerful. Crawl Space, really powerful. It can slow it right on down for who's attacking you. I even debated putting Propaganda in here as well, and I think I might actually. But you know what? If Intruder Alarm even gives you 1 more turn for you to do more mill stuff, it might be the way to go. Is there another one I want to get rid of? There was 1 more I debated. All right, Skittering Crustacean. We can get rid of this one. Remove, and we're gonna add in Propaganda. Let's further increase your chances of staying alive here. Propaganda in. Hopefully all these pieces will help give you 1 or 2 more chances to build your strategy. And Skittering Crustacean certainly will not do that for you. Again, some of these creatures are really good blue creatures, but you're not swinging out, so you don't really need them. It doesn't really fit in with your strategy, so that's why we're removing it. finishing out what we have here in the artifacts is all what you kept. I'm letting you keep Midnight Clock because I did think about what makes the games more fun. When you're building such a synergized deck, you want a few pieces that if they pop off, they're exciting. This is one of them. Why not? Let's see if it works. It's still going to tap for 1 blue mana every turn, so it's definitely something. Now, heading into the instance, as I mentioned, we needed more counter spells, so we got you an offer you can't refuse, one of the best counter spells in the game. Yes, you give an opponent some treasure tokens, but the non-creature spells will certainly get in the way of you winning your game. Casting a Sakashima, casting Bruvac for the first time, hold up 1 blue mana, protect your spell, definitely worth it. Also, we did shift out that Merchant Scroll for a Mystical Tutor. Now you can get your most potent sorcery spells. Of course, save Mystical Toot for the end step immediately before your draw phase so no one can mess with you, hopefully. Narset's Reversal also added. And again, Twin Cast. For just 2, you can copy any instant or sorcery spell, which is absolutely a win for you in this deck, and much more preferable than any other 2-drop thing you can do, in my opinion. And then, of course, we kept Visions of Beyond, absolutely worthwhile for you. On to enchantments, we did not change anything, actually. This is all good here, except adding Propaganda. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with your enchantments package. And then sorceries, we added in Traumatize in the version I'm going to send you, and Narset's Reversal also in the version I'm going to send you. Both cards really excellent in this deck, and I think much needed, really. Now, if we wanted to make this even more lean, I would get rid of Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, as again, this is kind of a Thassa's Oracle win con, but it does allow you for the +1 ability to force people to mill, and it might only be 2 cards now, but if 2 Bruvacs are out there, or you do other things along with it, it might be worthwhile to have this on board to 0 cost mana-wise per turn, continuing to mill, which is why we kept it in there. It might push you further each turn. And then finally, one of the biggest changes is what you did with the land base here. I got rid of 5 of the basic lands, and I put in Fabled Passage, which, yes, might have it come in tapped, but in mono blue, I'm not super worried about it, and you could save this once Hedron Crab is out. I know it kind of goes against what I said, right? We're hoping that 1 card is on the battlefield for this to work. But man, if you got Hedron Crab on the battlefield and you plop down a Flooded Strand, a Fabled Passage, Misty Rainforest, Polluted Delta, Scalding Tarn, you're doubling those triggers. You got Bruvac out there and it's copied, that's quadrupling those triggers. I mean, the payoff is just so good. And with 5 chances in your land base for it to happen, and all you need is Hedron Crab out, it might help instruct what hands we're going to keep in the testing portion here when we go through and goldfish. So those are the changes. That's what we did. It did increase the cost a little bit here. Your deck was 487. The new version is 610, and you could do cheaper printings. And again, a lot of the money has been spent on the Flooded Strand, Misty Rainforest, Polluted Delta, and Scalding Tarn. Believe it or not, you can play these inside your deck because it searches out that island. A lot of people don't think about them in monocolored decks, but you can still use them. I learned this recently in one of my buddy's Landfall deck. He played it, and it kind of blew my mind that you could, but I remember the full text secret layer lands are colorless permanents that tap for their color or do a certain thing. So just because this can go fetch a mountain, red is not in its color identity, so you can use it. It's kind of fun. Maybe you learned that today. Maybe you were today years old when you figured this out. It's a really cool thing for me that I like to include in decks when I can, and it keeps your opponents guessing. Because if you're crazy enough to put fetch lands in a monocolored deck, what else are you crazy enough to do? Huh? All right, let's go on to the goldfishing portion and see how I like this newly built, newly tooled up, slightly more focused Bruvac, which already had a very solid base with the original deck here from Thomas. All right, welcome to round 1. Our opening hand here looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I would like a little bit more interaction here. I would like a little bit more stuff to do with Bruvac, but we do have the Meekstone in here, which is gonna buy us a little bit of time from dying from swing out damage. We do have Midnight Clock, River Turn Monument, so we have some mill engines in here. We got Folio of Fancies here, which also gives us greater mill. We have 4-5 mana here. I'm tempted to say let it rip. That's one of the benefits of when your commander basically does the thing for you, let's let it go. So first and foremost, we'll just play, we'll draw for turn, of course. Mystical Tutor, oh my goodness. Wow, love to see it. I think what we're going to do is not piss people off with the Meekstone yet, not create a target. I think we're going to say go and then Mystical Tutor right into our next card because we're going to be right on tempo. So end step comes to the player before me. We Mystical Tutor. We're going to go get Traumatize. Let's get our instant kill right now. Now we are set. We have enough mana to cast it. This is crazy. So that's going to be my draw for this turn. We're just going to go on to next turn and put this back on top. Pretend like we didn't see that. So Mystical Tutor's been played. We now have Traumatize. We're going to play another island. And you know what? Yeah, we're going to tap for 2. And we're going to play River Turn. It's not too terrifying. Most people don't take anything from Aether Drift seriously, or Ether Drift, sorry. Most people don't take anything from Ether Drift seriously. So this is a good thing to get on board. Who cares? Let it rock. Let's go on to the next turn. Brainstorm. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand onto the top of your library. Easy enough here. I'm going to say, let's play our island here right now. Let's tap it for 1. We will play a Brainstorm. Let's draw 3. Oh, beautiful. So Scalding Tarn is here. We got Tasha's Hideous Laughter and Fairy Swarm. This is one I almost took out. There's a great argument to be made that we don't need this one in here, but I kept it just in case you want some creature on board as a potential deterrent for attacks if you don't get things like Meekstone or otherwise. So I think what we're going to do is take Tasha's Laughter. Then what I want to do, because I don't really care about this card, we're going to put this on top and then Scalding Tarn on top. My plan is to shuffle away that second card from the top with Scalding Tarn because I don't really want that. Now we have Tasha's Hideous Laughter, a really great card to go with. And now just to be efficient, because we're kind of running out of mana here, we're just going to do Meekstone here and say, look, no big deal. Big things don't untap. Who cares? Let's go on to the next turn. Great, Scalding Tarn. We're going to do this. We're going to pay 1 life. We're going to tap it, crack it, and we're going to get ourselves an island. Now we get to close and shuffle, and next turn will be something different than that little fairy. So right there shows me enough is enough. I think I am going to remove that card. We don't really need it. And again, it doesn't fit in with our strategy. So now we have a lovely 4 mana. I think what we're going to do now is attempt to cast Bruvac. Let's hope he comes out without an issue. I would like to have some protection for Bruvac before casting him the first time, but I'm not super worried because now at least we have the mana to recast him next turn. So let's assume we get Bruvac out without issue. We have 1 mana left. I think we are just going to quickly demonstrate what we can do here. Any number of target players each mill 2 cards. You're going to mill 4 cards. A little threatening, but let's just get this online. We now are not going to have Creatures of Power 2 or Greatness untapped, so maybe we don't have any big threats coming our way. Whatever. Next turn is a Traumatize if we just get 1 more mana. Let's see how we do. Oh, we didn't, but we did get Fractured Sanity with Bruvac is excellent. So I think what we're going to do, though, is let's not pressure them quite yet. I don't want to become the arch enemy so fast, I don't think. You know what? We need more mana. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get out Midnight Clock and just slow down a little bit. We're not a threat. Don't worry. Midnight Clock is here. It's not going to be that crazy. Don't worry. Everyone mill cards. Okay, on to the next turn. Unstoppable Plan is good. Okay, now we have that established. Let's get Traumatized out, and we're going to take out a player. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hope it resolves. Bruvac doubles it. Target player mills half their library rounded down. We're going to politic who we kill to get favors out of the people we don't kill. I want to be left alone for 2 turns, and I will not kill you. Now, telegraphing a kill like this is difficult when you might have some people counter it for you. So this is risky. We don't have protection. But Magical Christmas Land, we are going to say we're going to let that pass through, and we have just killed our first player on turn 6, which is not bad. Could have been faster, but I still like it. Let's go on to the next turn. Fog Bank, this is another one I debated getting rid of now that we have more means of protection with our Meekstone out. So we can have fun either way. Either we do Fractured Sanity or we do Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Maybe, yeah, let's do Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Let's have a little bit more fun as this game goes along. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of the library until that player has exiled a total of 20 or more in mana value. So let's assume we've done some serious damage there. If we're still alive next turn, I guarantee you Fracture Sanity will take somebody out. Let's see what we have next. Stuffy Doll. Let's choose the most threatening creature centric deck on the board for Stuffy Doll if we needed it. But for now, I wish we had an instant that would let Unstoppable Plan do some work for us. But for now, we're just going to do Fracture Sanity and say we have done some serious work here with our mills. Nothing super crazy except for the Traumatized Bruvac is just an amazing instant kill. So I'm happy that played out. I wish we had some protection in hand to counter something coming our way. I would recommend adding a Force of Will if possible. But for now, while goldfishing, this is a pretty good exercise. If you wanted to do anything to add Force of Will, I would get rid of that fairy and add Force of Will. You know what? We're going to do that right now. We're going to leave this. I'm getting rid of this fairy. I knew I didn't like it. Fairy Swarm, seeing it come up in my hand and me not wanting it is all the evidence I need. And we're going to add in Force of Will. Remove Fairy Swarm, add Force of Will. Okay, excellent. Let's go try a new playtest with this deck now. Okay, we have an interesting opening hand here. We have a counterspell for protection, which I do like. We got Fortune Teller's Talent, which is going to scale up very nicely with us as we go along. Sphinx's Tutelage, I really like and does really well with the Mystic Remora or something of that nature. We could have done a Ristic Study in here, but I didn't put that in. It's a polarizing card, and it seemed like an obvious include, which if you want to play Ristic Study, you can play Ristic Study. I wanted to be a bit more creative, says the guy who just put a Force of Will in, but what can you do? Unstoppable Plan, pretty good as well. I kind of like this. We have enough mana to cast Bruvac. Fortune Teller we get out. I kind of like that. Getting a little bit more top deck control. You know what? This is risky. Let's see how it plays out if we're a little thin on mana. So we're going to take that. We're going to draw for turn. Ooh, as an island. Got lucky there. We're going to play this, and I can look at the top card of a library anytime. Let's see. What's the top card of the library? Tasha City's Laughter. We'll let that one ride. It's a pretty good card. On to the next. We're going to play another land for turn, and then we're just going to pass. Next turn. Ooh, Water Crystal. Excellent for us to get out. So now we have 3. Let's play our third island here. And we're going to play Sphinx's Tutelage now, and we're going to get going on our mill stuff as we speak. Next turn, I kind of want to update this. What do we have next? Oh, we have Crawl Space. Ideal. We'll get a little bit more time. We'll play Water Crystal next. Maybe Bruvac after that. We'll have enough to protect it, hopefully, by then. Okay, I like this a lot. We're going to play Water Crystal next on the next turn. Turn 4, curving out just fine. We are going to play the Water Crystal, which now reduces the cost of all my blue spells by 1, so Bruvac will be even cheaper. And we're going to increase our mill effects. Whenever opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill that many cards plus 4 instead, which is sick. And then each opponent mills cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. So again, really powerful stuff. I like it a lot. Hopefully that resolves. Go on to the next turn. Jet Medallion. So this is when it becomes a little bit difficult to decide what to do. I think we might play Jet Medallion because now it's going to cost 1 in order to get Bruvac out. I really want Crawl Space though. I wish we had just 1 more mana. Isn't that always the case? Well, if I was able to see how the rest of the board was going, I would either do Protection or do Sapphire Medallion. Since we are just having fun here, I think we're going to do Sapphire Medallion, and then we're going to do Tasha's Hideous Laughter for just 2. Each opponent's going to go through that exile game and see how much damage we can do to them and say, hey, look, I got nothing on board. I didn't cast anything. Don't worry about me. On to my next turn. Beautiful in Island. It's bothering me that these are touching. Let's fix this. All right, we have the island now. Let's see what's coming up next. Folio of Fancies. I don't know if I necessarily want that coming up next. It's a pretty good card, though. We now can protect our Bruvac because he only costs 1. Let's assume this late in the game, people have mana. Let's assume someone tried to counter that. We're going to play our counter spell to defend it. I like that. Bruvac is protected. Bruvac has come out. Now, we can play Unstoppable Plan, if that would be useful, but it wouldn't. We're going to assume people are doing some great mill stuff with the Sphinx's Tutelage, getting some triggers along the way. This is kind of a slower Bruvac hand, but we're so well equipped for things now. We were protected. Let's go to next turn. Folio of Fancy is not huge. I kind of genuinely would probably play Crawl Space to protect us from getting swung out by, the dinosaur deck you're playing against or who knows what. This is pretty good for us too. We're going to play this for 1. And I can activate this for 1 now, right? Or no, it's activation. Unfortunately, it doesn't reduce the cost. But still, at least we have this on board. We're curving out okay. What's on next? Force of Will. Okay, next turn. And then I think we just got to start dumping mana into this and have players draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, let's have us draw cards and fill up our hand. So we're going to do this. Tap this. Draw 2 cards. Beautiful. We'll play an island for turn. And then Ruin... Oh, sorry. We're going to play a Ruin Crab. And then we'll play an island, get the landfall trigger, get all of our benefits of the Water Crystal and Bruvac. With 1 landfall, they're going to mill not just 3, trigger. They're going to mill an additional 4. So that's a total of 7 cards, 14 for 1 mana. We are online. Kind of a late game turn 8. I got to check, are we still bracket 3 or bracket 4? Either way, not bad. Did pretty well on low mana. And now we have a Force of Will for protection with an Unstoppable Plan to pitch if need be for free cast. Let's go on to the final goldfish turn. All right, opening hand here, not enough land. We're gonna have to get our free Commander Mulligan. Here we go, more to do here. We have 4 mana, Familiar's Ruse. We have a counterspell here, which is good. Serum Vision. We get a little bit of a draw engine here. And this is a pretty decent card as well. Again, almost took this out because you're not really going to have creatures on board. It's kind of dangerous to never really have creatures up, I suppose. But we don't have Meekstone. We don't have Crawl Space. We don't have Propaganda. So we really do need something to protect us. This is a fine hand to keep. Let's see what our first draw is. Hey, Brainstorm. I love it. Let's brainstorm. Who doesn't like a turn 1 brainstorm? Ooh, Hedron Crab. Let's go. Absolutely. I mean, this Jace is really good too. All right, we're gonna do Hedron Crab just because it'll get the most value. This will go 3rd from the top by having it out earlier. Let's go on to the next turn. Beautiful. Play 1. Oops, sorry. Tap, play Hedron Crab, and then play 1. Boom, our first trigger. Mill 3 cards. Whatever, get the game going. Don't worry, it's no big deal. I wouldn't worry. I think what we're gonna do then as well, just so we can stay on a curve, is we're going to Serum Vision, draw a card, then scry 2. This is tough. I don't think we have any shuffle mechanics coming in, so it's fine for us to have the island come out, not this turn or next turn. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what order we put it back in. Whatever, the island is more important to us just so we have plenty of mana, so we're gonna put that back just in case someone forces a shuffle somehow. So we're gonna go to next turn. We have our mana lined up now at least. Let's play that. I think what we want to do now, boom, mill trigger, Hedron Crab, lots of fun. Let's get out Bruvac, you know? I'm not going to lie, I would love to see a fetch land come up. Bruvac is out now. Hedron Crab is going to have a really decent effect now with 6 whenever a land comes out. Get any of our fetches, that's going to be 12. So really quite potent. Let's go to our next turn. Let's hope that we got it out without having it countered. Boom. You are now going to be milling 6 cards. Not bad, just for playing a land. Then I think what we should be doing is probably getting out Midnight Clock just so we get a little bit more mana. I almost got rid of Deep Monk Desperado a few times now. We don't really target people that often but to mill. Although Hedron Crab will be targeting people if it comes out, if a land comes out. So let's do this. If we get another land draw up here, we'll play this, so then it's going to trigger a crime to get a little bit more mill action. For now, let's just line up our mana with Midnight Clock and go on to the next turn. It is, wow, look at that. All right, so I think the way we do this is tap for, we'll put Midnight Clock down here. Let's tap for 1, 2, and 3. The second spell costs 1 less. Can I afford that by doing it this way? Yes, I can. So let's do it this way. This is interesting. We're going to play the High Spire Bell Ringer. The second spell I cast each turn costs 1 less, which means this is only gonna cost 2. 1, 2. We then play Deep Monk Desperado, which whenever I target a player or commit a crime, each opponent mills 3 cards. It triggers only once a turn. Great, I play a land for turn. Trigger, trigger, trigger. So we're gonna stack them this way. Hedron Crab is gonna trigger first. Whenever a land you control enters, target player mills a card. I'm gonna make a player mill. So technically the trigger happens now. I have now targeted a player. When I target that player and before they mill, we're gonna then have them mill another 3 cards. That's a total of 6. Bruvac is gonna see that. It's going to be a total of 12 cards milled. Now, this is for all players, and this is for 1 player. So 1 player is going to mill 12. Everyone else is going to mill 6. So pretty good. We have a spell reduction on board. Jace is going to come back out. Let's see. Do we get another land? Mystical Tutor. Oh man, well, you know what we get is Traumatized for sure. Okay, now we could play Mystical Tutor and then get a discount on Jace Memory Adept, but we do have enough mana to pay for this outright at the end of the player next to us is end step. So let's just get Jace out. We'll use Midnight Clock to cast Mystical Tutor. At that time, go get ourselves a Traumatize and then instant kill somebody. Once this comes out, I think what we want to do is whatever player we targeted with all of that mill with Hedron Crab, we're going to try and kill him by upticking this 1. And that might get them to mill themselves, which would be ideal. Then we go on to right before our next turn, tap Mystical Tutor, go get ourselves a Traumatize, put that into our hand, close. This is our next draw. So we go to next turn, put this back on because we don't get to draw that. A great card to get at this point in the game. And now we politic. Who we killing, right? Who we taking out? So we can Traumatize somebody, and they're going to double mill, and then we're also going to have another player put the top half of his library into their graveyard, and you get to draw a card. Oh, I meant to draw another card. I should have drew a card last time. So yeah, there we are. That is a really, really good hand. I did miss that draw trigger, but otherwise I think pretty clean and really, really powerful stuff happening here. We should have taken out at least 2 players by now, and they're playing against each other too. For all we know, they killed somebody else too. Now, conversely, we had 1 counterspell for protection, and we would have had to bounce a creature to its owner's hand. So that would have been kind of sad, but you know, whatever. We had the creatures to spare this time around, which is pretty cool. Hedron Crab worked great, just as I'd hoped. And then Deep Muck using that targeting trigger worked really well with the mill mechanic. If only we got ourselves some of our fetch lands out there, that would have been even more dangerous. We have a Fractured Sanity and a Fleet Swallower in the wings. Again, really powerful, but we are not winning until turn 7. or so, and that's not even a guaranteed win. We're just taking out a few of the opponents. So I would love a Traumatize mixed in with a Twin Cast, and then we take out 2 players, which would be sweet. So the pieces are there. We have a lot of good stuff to do here. A Narcissus Reversal also could have got that Traumatized to be a little bit more dangerous. So you can see the way this deck plays out. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like what I did to Thomas's deck? Thomas, do you like it? Let me know. It is definitely a more focused deck, but it's not to say the one you had before wasn't fun. I do like the idea that you had 2 branching pathways, although it would be very hard to pull off a Thassa's win with the way the deck was built. There was only a few cards that really played into that strategy, but it's still fun. If you pulled it off, it would be legendary. And Casual Commander is the place where legendary plays beat efficient plays sometimes, especially for how we remember them. So I hope you enjoyed this deck tech. It was a blast building this out a little bit more for you, and I hope you like the changes that I suggested. And now you can take a look at my Mox field to get the idea of what I did and why. By the end, it was 15 total cards changed because we did end up putting in that Force of Will and getting rid of that Skittering Crustacean. I would still probably get rid of Vantress Gargoyle and put in like a Swan Song or something. And then if you do end up putting in a Swan Song for the Force of Will to make it a little bit less potent, then maybe do a Pongify instead. And the Cyclonic Rift, same thing. Just keep putting counter spells in or mill spells. Protect your win or lean into your win. That's my advice. So yeah, this was a blast. Thank you so much for everybody who watched. This was a longer one, but it was a cool deck to dive into. But I wanted to make sure to do justice to a name partner in our fake little YouTube law firm here. And speaking of which, now it's time for us to thank our patrons, without whom this channel would not be possible. I greatly appreciate it to all of our $1, $5, and $10 tier patrons at the associate, council, and partner level. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Then a special thank you to our senior partners here, Zach Walter, Teacher Johnny, Dragon's Den Games and Hobbies, and Novian L. Then at our equity partner tier, we have Toucher of Wood. He's a carpenter. That's always the thing I'm going to say at the end, just so you know, for context. We are family friendly here. And then finally, our absolute mad lad, our named partner, Thomas McKinney. We really appreciate you. And I really hope you liked your deck tech and that you enjoy that sweet, sweet win you already got with this new Bruvac, all tuned up and ready to kick some butt. And that's the video. So thanks again for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a great deck tech. I love making these videos. Next month, we'll do another Patron Submitted Deck Tech. But until then, be excellent to each other, play paper magic with your friends, and court is adjourned.